Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to my last video there, and appreciate the input that I got back from a bunch of you guys. I really appreciated that. It sort of motivated me to keep kicking on and put a few more videos out there. So this one's just one I'm doing in the car as I head back home after a bit of a day out with the getting a few things fixed up. Just was thinking as I was talking to someone today about risk and taking risks, and how it does seem in the 21st century, while we've made some great advances in stuff, we've also become really quite risk averse. It's like we're, as a bunch of people, we're wanting to move forward, wanting to make changes, but we're really scared oftentimes. There's a lot of fear around and a lot of struggle when it comes to taking risks. We've seen this certainly within the churches, and I'm imagining a lot of this has to do with insurance and litigation and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many boxes you got to tick these days. There's so much you have to, get in place before you can even kind of step over the line. And I was listening to a guy yesterday talking about YouTube videos. He said, just make a start, just do it. So I was like, oh yeah, that sounds great. So you just start making them. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be the best YouTuber. You just got to put yourself out there and make a start and try and grow and improve as you go. And I was thinking that's kind of been a bit of a mantra of mine when it's come to taking risks, which is like, I heard someone say years ago, you got to learn to fail faster. And I remember saying that to my wife, and it kind of stuck with her quite considerably, because I've kind of done that. I've made, quite a few risks in life, and not everything's worked out by a long shot. I've been a bit of an entrepreneur and tried different business strategies and ideas and thoughts, and some have taken off and some have died after, a couple of months. Others have died after a year, and, not too many have become massively fruitful. I've had some pretty good things happen in the last few years, but I'd say probably, to be honest, there would have been more failures than there would have been great successes, but I certainly learned a lot, and I guess through that I've been able to become okay with taking risks. So when myself and my friend were talking earlier today about taking risks, we realised that a big part of all of our lives is that we have to take risks. We've got to take risks for the kingdom. We've got to try different stuff, and we've got to be willing to make mistakes. Like, remember we were talking about Jesus and his disciples and how he, sent them out 2 by 2. He sends out the 70, and off they go, and they go out to cast out demons and preach the good news of the kingdom and stuff. And he's like, off you go, guys, just go for it. There didn't seem to be masses of training apart from watching him do it, and I guess maybe trying it themselves, but they learn on the job. And they came back and they said, oh, this didn't happen and that happened, and yeah, look, maybe some good stuff must have happened, because they said, oh, the demons bowed down, like, hey, he says, oh yeah, good, well done guys, but what about this, what about that? So there's a bit of a learning process, isn't it? Sort of like an apprenticeship in a way that we're going through. And as all apprentices know, there's mistakes that you make. And any good journeyman will tell you, anyone as a tradesman who's worked with it as an apprentice will tell the apprentice, hey guys, it's okay to take some risks. You're going to have to learn on the job. You're going to have to learn how to do this stuff. And mistakes will happen. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. You cannot get through life without, blowing a few things or stuffing up a few things. And we learn how to fix our mistakes, and then we move on and grow through it. So, I think risking is an interesting thing. You look at the church and you look at what they've done and the big risks that they took some years back in stepping out in faith and trying to start bigger congregations, in leaving jobs, leaving secure positions to serve God. And it just seems like we've become a little bit comfortable over the years, and we're now, rather than being risk takers and sort of leading the way, another lady I was talking to today was just saying, we've become kind of like a bit like a business in a lot of ways, right? We don't want to take too many risks. We're going, can we do that? Can we do that? Can we go that way? Not too sure about that. Maybe we better just take the safer option. And it's hard if you're going to lead out a bunch of people. How do you stay relatively safe, take risks on behalf of others without, doing too much damage? So Wonder whether we can learn risks by stepping out within our own worlds, stepping out with confidence in the fact that we know that we each have a calling, we each have a position of power and strength within us, we each have a gift that we can give to the world. I wonder if we can step out in some way that we haven't stepped out before. I wonder what that'd be like. This friend and I were talking today, and we're like, man, imagine if people just stepped out and listened a little closer to the Spirit and just took up that little inkling, that little nudge, ring someone, email someone, give, serve, love in a way that you hadn't done yesterday. Just taking that one little step that's a little bit risky, moving towards someone you haven't moved to, moving out of that clique. Like someone was saying the other day, and I'm sure this is true, is that churches have become so cliquey that for the people who don't fit in, it's one of the most awkward places in the world. It's not welcoming, it's not open, it's actually a really treacherous and very difficult place to go to. And we go, how come no one's coming to our church? What's going on? And we're like, it's become like a clique club in a lot of ways. We don't open ourselves up and take the risk of even meeting new people. We certainly don't invite them back to our house anymore like we did back in the day. I can remember early on, yeah, come round for a meal, bring the family, come on round, meet my family. That was like a regular occurrence. I wonder when was the last time you might have invited someone around to your place. We're very risk averse, not sure about them, wondering maybe, as a church we wait for people to be there for at least a year before we give them anything to do. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like unless we're willing to take some risk, nothing's going to change. So maybe today there's an opportunity for a bit of a risk in your life. Maybe you've been on the brink of taking a risk of maybe, who knows, starting up a new business in the middle of COVID. Well, who would be crazy enough to do that? But as someone has said, there's tons of opportunities out there at this time that weren't existing even a year ago now before COVID hit. So maybe there's something you've been thinking about. Maybe you're looking at expanding into some sort of ministry. Maybe you're looking to, get your gift out there, as I'm doing, like here, doing these videos. I wonder if in so doing you could step out in a very small way, minimising the risk, but also being willing to take the risk, getting a few runs on the board, getting a win up under your belt, and growing in confidence with whatever you're doing. In other words, do something today. I wonder what you can do today, whether it's risky, whether it seems minor, or it might even seem huge to you. This other friend of mine was saying he's going to let go of quite a big portion of his work because he's seen that his mission for the kingdom is far greater than anything that he could bring in through that workplace. Even though he's making really big bucks, he's like, what's the point of it? It's not satisfying. It's not bringing the life of the Spirit that he wants. So I'm wondering for you, just like for us, there might be some risk in your life that you've been thinking about taking, and maybe now's the time to make that step and to go, you know what? It's a new year, it's a new time, this has been the weirdest 12 months we've ever had. Is it time to maybe make that step, take something and do something a bit more risky? Now that you've been challenged and you've been pulled up a little bit by this whole process of COVID, maybe you've gone, well, you know what, maybe I don't have to go down this road. Maybe I can just take a different pathway, and 2021 is the go. So maybe if this year is your thing, I want to encourage you to go for it, because if you learn to fail faster, you'll grow and you'll be challenged and you'll stretch. I guarantee it, you'll stretch. And it's not always comfortable, as you know, and that's why we can become risk averse. Perhaps we've become just that little bit too comfortable. It might be time to break out of that comfort zone and really go out there, man, and just hit it and just go, well, what can I do? What have I got that the world needs? What problem can I solve? What can I bring to the world that the world doesn't have that they need? Or what do they need more of that I have in my possession? My time, my gifting, my finances, my talents, my skills. Worth thinking about. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.